If you're a student and you've always wanted to start a dietitian private practice, but you didn't know where or when or how, today's video is just for you. Now, you might know that while completing rotations, you have a lot going on as a student. You have to learn time management tactics like planning your day and also goal setting. What I encourage our clients to do at this stage is ask yourself, why do you want to start a business? Why does business ownership feel attractive to you? And if you can think about your why, it'll motivate you to get a little more serious when it comes to goal setting and practicing time management. Because at the end of the day, it can be really easy on a regular basis to do what you feel like when you want. But when you're a business owner, especially a business owner and a student, you have to start getting really serious about your time and focusing on routine building so that you can get important stuff done while also managing being a student. And some of you also have a family, so there's multiple priorities that you're juggling at the same time. So it all goes back to asking yourself, why are you doing this and what does it mean to you? For a lot of students out there, you want that freedom and flexibility. You want the creativity to practice your philosophy as you see it fit. And you also want to use modern ways to market to the masses, such as using social media marketing and the internet, whether it be list building or events like webinars or anything involving using the internet to try to reach more people beyond wherever you live. In your dietetic internship, you spend 9 months or more completing your nutrition supervised practice. Now there's 3 areas that you're going to cover. That includes community, clinical, and food service. Depending on your rotation, there might be a focus on one of those topics that's greater than the other focus. For example, when I completed my dietetic internship, which was distance, which forced me to practice time management, I completed an internship that focused a little bit more on child nutrition. And because of that, I spent the most time with a focus on food service. My rotation was focused on student and school food. So what I did is I spent a lot of time in schools, both private and a charter school, focusing on healthy meals for children, which was awesome. I got to spend a lot of time working on operational procedures, figuring out budget, project management, and how you're able to actually feed an entire school, both a charter school and a private school. I worked at an amazing private school in New York City called Calhoun, and I was able to not only, be the person making the food, which was really interesting because I had never actually worked in a restaurant before, but I also got to see the production and the back end of how they were able to serve such amazing gourmet meals to children, which were also, farm to table, fresh food, etc. So those are really cool experience for me. Not everyone's school food rotation is that fun. So some of you have to work in settings that, don't have a lot of flexibility, or you're in school food, or you're in just, some type of food service that's not school food. You might be in clinical or some type of food service area that you don't enjoy or that's super regimented. So let us know below what your experience has been like with food and food service. Clinical means hospital or outpatient. So for my clinical experience, I did long-term care, and I also worked at an inpatient unit for most of my clinical here in New Jersey, and I had the chance to work with multiple preceptors during that time. Now, I didn't absolutely hate it, but it wasn't my favorite, but I already knew that clinical wasn't my thing, despite me going into a clinical job, which I talk about in other videos, but let's move on. We'll go back to that later. And then finally, there's community, which can be focused on non-for-profit or any other type of community venture. For my dietetic internship, I worked with the New York State department. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what we did. And I worked in the farmers market. So I did some programming with farmers market, which was actually really cool. So I got to go into the corporate office, and I got to go out into the field and work at different farmers markets and see how they did the programming for children. And they did some adult stuff, but I was more on the end of pediatrics, which I found really interesting, especially because I love program design. So I got to see how they were able to create curriculum and lesson plans. And I also created and developed lesson plans as well as a dietetic intern. Now, because my experience was 100% virtual, I was forced to practice time management skills. Being a virtual intern, I know that's common now, but 7 years ago, back when I did my dietetic internship, that wasn't popular. So there was only a few dietetic internships that were virtual. So when I did mine, I already had a business, an existing business, and I was able to manage that as well as completing my dietetic internship. I can't remember if I completed my master's degree or not. I had a lot going on. But what I did is I used my calendar diligently, and I was able to prioritize, and that really is what helped me manage multiple things and also work as my own boss. And if you want to be a business business owner, you're going to have to start learning how to practice those habits as well so that you can start building on the side. So if you're wondering, how do you prepare for private practice as a student, keep in mind compliance issues. So you have to keep in mind scope of practice. And as a licensed professional, since dietitians are highly regulated, you're not able to provide any counseling or MNT until you have a license, and then you have a license in the state that you live and then a license in the state that your client lives in. So to be safe and compliant, what you can do is provide nutrition education. And you have to do your due diligence and look up disclaimers with that as well. So in my program Rebellion, where I show you how to create programs and educational materials and courses and digital products ranging from group programs to coaching to memberships, we show you disclaimers on what they look like, but you need to make sure that you do your due diligence and check and make sure you're compliant. So as a student, can you sell things and have a business? Yes, but you need to be really mindful that you're being compliant and you're protecting, the terms, and you're not going deep into MNT or counseling or anything specific. So you can get started, and it's a good time to start building habits that you'll need as a private practitioner, but just be mindful of what you can and can't do. Digital product creation is a fantastic idea, and I've had many students do things like creating workbooks or even getting some practice with creating digital products and building their email list and building their social media following and clarifying their brand messaging while they're a student. And that way, when they graduate or when they're doing their internship or their master's degree or whatever, they're already building those assets to prepare to make money when they are a licensed practitioner. I've had very successful dietetic students start with me and follow my framework, right, the Dietitian Boss Method, and then when they actually became licensed, they already had a practice up and running and they were either near their goals or reaching or exceeding their goals. That can feel really rewarding. So just make sure to take that step-by-step approach towards building your practice. And it's not just something that, overnight you have figured out. There are steps and levels, which is why I have a step-by-step process to show you how to plan, to show you how to launch, to show you how to grow, and finally to show you how to maintain, so that you can derive the benefits that you've worked so hard to achieve once you've reached your financial goals, and you can really get your time back. Work a 4-hour week, spend time with your family, but it all starts with you looking at the process of getting started, right? Building your email list, learning what people want and need, and then satisfying their requests in the form of the products that you're creating, whether they be courses, memberships, digital downloads, or ebooks, etc. So Kylie shares her story of being a dietetic student and running a business, so I want you to check her out.
What a day in the life looks like as a business owner and in my dietetic internship. I start every morning by creating my to-do list of everything that I need to complete for the day. That way I have a clear outline of what I need to get done. Then my morning I head off to clinicals. The time varies. I always go to the gym after clinicals, come home and eat a dinner, and tonight I have 3 client calls. I love working for myself.
If you like this video, I want you to check out this next video about starting your practice as a student. If you're looking for more support, I want you to check the link below and apply for coaching to work with somebody on our team.